do just that. I really love working with individuals at work to make sure they're really served and their career is considered and they're on the right track. So part of being in the whole job search is learning how to communicate our values. And that's not changed, but the interview process has changed so much. It unnerves us, and I can attest, having been in HR on the recruiting side, that the amount of screening we put in place trying to make it easy on both sides truly just victimizes the job candidate. And so I'm sorry, it was not my doing, but I realized it. You have a handout and a postcard. I always love to give free downloadables that have information you can use. I also offer free newsletters and always offer tips, so that's coming around. And then there's a worksheet, and whatever we don't cover in this, it'll trigger you to ask questions, because I sometimes do very long 2 and 3 hour workshops on this, and sometimes do different talk. So I want to make sure you get everything you need today. So this is about the card. I love gifts. Anytime you want to have a chat with somebody like me, background HR, recruiting, or from a business coach, discovery calls are always complimentary. Do not feel like we're roping you into something that we're going to go, oh, and that will be. So if you want to just chat about the journey you're on and have me understand how to connect you with maybe somebody that you're looking for within my network, or just join my LinkedIn, that is available to you in those postcards. So you are always on an interview, whether formal or informal, at the bar, at the grocery store, at the golf course. You're always going to have somebody say, so tell me about yourself, or what do you do, or what do you want to do? What do you do for work? What do you do for fun? Jim Carrey, who's an actor and an activist, said this statement that I find very useful. Your true currency in life is your ability to positively influence and affect others, and words matter. How you talk about yourself matters. How you think about yourself matters. And it's a big deal. We've all had the bad day. We've all wanted to just stay in bed, say, screw it. I'm just going to take a day off. And you are totally entitled, and if you need it, do it. It is very important to keep your mental aptitude and self-esteem and self-confidence up whenever you're in transition, whether you wanted to be in transition or you didn't. You're always sending internal statements. You are a leader in your life, and how you lead your life and how you lead what you say to other people does send an internal message. They'll know if you're having a bad day, even if you say, I'm great, and they'll go, my BS flag is way up. Come on, be honest with me, what's going on? And that's okay too. When you heard about this talk today, really quick, what were some of your expectations? I always ask this. I want to make sure I honor those, and if I can't honor those in my talk, I honor them with questions and answers. So anybody want to offer what their expectations were?
I thought it would be very positive and not be just by the way it's worded, value up.
Right.
The stock market could always be in that position too.
That's right. We're going to just take that sunflower and turn it right up. Anybody else? Yes.
My internal messaging tends to be always a little bit more negative and critical. And so I was hoping to learn how to flip that when I need to, and so that my internal messaging
doesn't come out, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Honest, really honest from the heart, like, hey, how do I control the message when I can't really control my brain? And we've all had that mismatch. So I'm not sure if you can dim these lights and help you see this visually, but what I want to provide you today is understanding what to expect with more clarity and where you can control your messaging in every phase of your job adventure. Know that you have experiences to offer, regardless of your age, young or experienced. How to craft your experiences so that not only will you get to control the information, but it's fun to deliver and enjoyable to hear. And that's where you're valuing up, is understanding your part in the storytelling of you. Sometimes you will get the call about an interview and not land the offer. It could be that your resume is talking better than you. It could be that somebody who I call a unicorn walked right in the door right after you and offered them things they never even knew they needed until that person walked in. So please do not take the lack of callbacks totally personally. Please. I just went through advertising for positions of services I needed, and I spent 2 weeks advertising every single person people referred to me. And I was then trying to configure how to put this team together, and literally in walks a unicorn. Somebody who already established that same team. I could hire one entity. I didn't have to piece the team together myself. I didn't know that that was available. I didn't know I needed that. And I went back to every single person saying, here's why I wanted to hire you. Here's why I chose this person. And they go, yep, you're right. I'm not part of that team. I haven't developed that team. I wanted to know what I loved and valued about them, but who came in the door after them through no fault of their own. And I think that we lack that genuine feedback. And from an HR perspective and a compliance, cover your butt efforts, there are people out there not able to give good quality feedback. And EEOC now is reporting quite a few people filing discrimination claims based on feedback from the interview. And so now nobody gets it. So I'm sorry again that they do this blanket approach, but that is what happens.
The light switches are.
Oh. So I was hoping it had a dimmer, but I didn't want to leave everybody in the dark.
Okay. Is that?
We can see.
No,
That one's
That's
better.
That's good.
yeah, that way we can see.
Okay.
No, that's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now it's the video's not picking anything up.
Oh,
Oh.
So if you want to see anything in the video, we need at least one of those lights on.
okay. Woo, I wish there was that lovely sliding.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So this, I want to tell you, neuroscience is your friend if you realize how it works. Information we seek in our brains scan the environment for two things all the time. Yes, it regulates our body. Yes, it protects us from risk. And yes, it helps us keep memories while you sleep, so get enough of it. What it is always doing is looking for ways to feel accepted and respected for who you are right now perfectly enough, and where to learn and grow next. Love or learn. That is literally how the brain scans, which is why Facebook is so popular. We can go find people that make us feel accepted and respected, and we can laugh and find memes and comedians we agree with, and we can find out where they're vacationing and what to do next and what good book. You notice there's no place that our brain seeks out negativity. So when negativity comes into our brain, it rolls around like a lost marble, missing its game box, and we keep chasing it, wondering what we should do with it. Be mindful of negative comments that serve you no purpose. If you cannot learn from it, if it doesn't make you feel accepted and respected for who you are right now and good enough, let it go. It is something someone said that is rolling around your brain. Interviewers look for this information too, but just in a different way. They're really looking for how to have you make them feel that you are compatible, accepted, respected for who this company is right now, good enough, and what to learn about you and how to help their company be successful. Knowing that allows you to kind of shape the information you want to provide in a way that allows them to know what you know about them, what you know about the position, what you know about the company, that you've done your homework. And here's how my skills, my experience can help you be more successful. That's all they're looking for. Yes, the skills are a check mark, but what they're looking for is organizational fit. When you get the phone interview, they're looking for validation that you are who you say on your resume. And then they sort. So the keyword search is sorted through keywords, here and there. They call, they sort. All subjective. Again, sorry. Then you get the in-person interview, and you go to the general HR placement person. You might get to go directly to the person you might be working with. They may not have the time, and it goes on that way. Sorting, sorting, sorting. Harry Potter and the sorting hat was a great metaphor, because the kid in the hat couldn't control where it was going. So some of the things you can control, some of the things you can't. What you can control is how you answer any questions on the way through. And we're going to get to that. I want you to be you. Gone are the days when you get to be whoever they want you to be. There is no such thing. They don't want you to be somebody else that they're thinking of because they know that that's shooting themselves in the foot. So be you. And a lot of times we go, well, who in the world is that? I've lost myself in this process. I look at the resume and I know I've done all this, but I'm feeling disconnected. How do I get this back? One of the things that I do in coaching and I did in HR was I always offered assessments. One of my favorites in the job adventure is the Clifton Street Finders assessment. And the reason I like this, it shoves your opinion off the table and allows you to see yourself validated on paper, how you were born into this world, how you think, how you problem solve, how you interpret information. And you need to really honor that and step into it, because by doing so, now you will know how to find the right fit for the job that will set you up for success. You cannot be who you're not. I normally use the full assessment because I want to go all the way to the other spectrum to let you know who you are opposite of, and I want to validate you because you tolerate things that type of person can't. So we're going to educate you on what you tolerate when most people can't, and that also helps you understand the dichotomy of your strengths. How you see the world, what motivates and demotivates you, how you problem solve. Along with these assessments, and along when I talk with people, I say make a list of all the times in your life you felt like a rock star. From childhood, college, first job, on up. A project you were on, a decision you made, on the team that won state championship, whatever it was, however minuscule or large, write down a list of when you felt like a rock star. Because the secrets are in there of your strengths, of how you see things. Because I'm going to ask you to go back and say, what did you contribute to that success? Was it your analysis? Was it your perspective? Was it your hard work? Teamwork? Were you a great collaborator? And this is where you can actually start to find out where your strengths are naturally by just looking at the past where you felt amazing. You got the compliments, you got recognized for what you participated in. This is an acronym I have found useful when you get to answer questions that are open-ended. The tell about yourself, which feels like a landmine. Here's the trick. Anybody asking that question doesn't know enough about you to care if you have kids, or you've been married, or you have a boat, or your cat threw up that morning. Yet. They don't know enough to care yet. So this is your opportunity to be more prepared and strategic. What in your past prepared you for this career right now? Could have been when you were 6. Okay? Where do you want to go by working at this place you're interviewing for? And why does this interview, why is it important? Because it places you on that path. I had a client who's a world-class journalist, and she said this question trips her up all the time. How does she answer this? And after a lot of exploring, here's where her answer evolved to. When someone at her interview at NBC asked her, tell me about yourself, she says, you know, when I was 6, I remember coming back from school and helping teach my parents who immigrated from Korea English by reading the paper. I came to love the paper. In the evenings, that's how we worked together. And I wanted to be that byline, that author, that my parents read someday. So as I go through my career, I'm always interested in being on a large network and understanding how to help you be successful so that my parents see my byline someday. So it doesn't have to be past, future, now all the time. It can be past, now, future. But from an HR perspective, I would got to hear what motivates you and why you come to work. And I got to hear how I fit into your future. And I got to hear how you want me to be successful with your skills. So Past, Future, Now is a very fun acronym to play with. In a workshop, I would have 3 people come up and I hand them a piece of paper and I have them look at this piece of paper and say, okay, I'm going to say, tell me about yourself and where we're interviewing. And they got to be completely outside the box and try out this Past, Future, Now answer. And normally what I do is I give them the name of an animal, and we're interviewing to be in the zoo. And I need people to think outside the box, because when you get creative is when your brain breathes and go, oh, thank you for giving me a break. The stress we put on ourselves when we're in this hunt is numbing. I need you to play with this. I need you to go and interview other people and say, if you were interviewing at a zoo and you were a giraffe, how would you answer past future? Now, what in your past would make you want to be a giraffe in my zoo? And in the future, what do you want to be seeing about your life? Why is this important now? It's a fun way to play with your spouse, with your friends, with your kids, your grandkids, is having them ask you a question, an open-ended question. Why do you want this job? Open-ended. Past, future, now. It allows your brain some exercise and some elasticity and some flexibility that you get to strategically now pinpoint for this job why this job is important, regardless of how many other job searches and interviews are going on. These are the type of questions you'll hear. Share with me why you do what you do. What makes you want to network or work here? What clients are you looking for in your new role? If you're going to be in this one, where would your customers be? Describe your best client. There are lots of different ways. Any open-ended question. What do you want for dinner? Well, for lunch I had. And I really don't want to have. But let's pick Indian now. This plays. And you need to. Neuroscience will reveal to you, the more you let your brain breathe, relax, have fun, the more accurate you're going to be, happier, relieved, easier on yourself when you want to talk about an interview question. So this is an example. Past, future, now. What in your past is connected to the path you currently desire? And this could change all the time. You want to take up gardening? That's different. You're going to be an actor tomorrow. Different. What is in your future career plans that make this opportunity so meaningful? So do play with this. I know it's a very different way to look at answering interview questions, but I need you to think differently, to breathe and be human, and be lighter, and to let them see how you are on a happy day when you come to work. So play with this. Keep calm and think. I want you to get out of your head of memorizing your resume. And we're going to talk about why in a minute. When asked, introduce yourself or share what you want to do, step into it with some thought. Critically think about the situation. Coming here today, I did my homework. I knew how much time I might have. I knew what position you're in. Analyze the point of why you're there to share with you my background in HR, the way I need to hear from you about you. But evaluate what you want to share. Again, realize at what stage of the interview they do or do not care yet. What are they trying to understand about you that makes them feel accepted and respected for the job they're offering, and what they can learn about you that will make that fit. When you normally get to the personal interview, they've seen your resume, they're looking at your skills, now they want to hear about the experiences, and they're looking for organizational fit. How are they going to fit in with what we have? How are they going to work with who we have? I can't rehire everybody else. Share with clarity and leave space for questions. We're going to talk about this. So, with time at the end, I'm going to do an exercise. I normally have people pick and try this out just to get you jogging differently. But we're going to pick one of two formulas and play a little bit at the end. But I do encourage you to play with this when you go home. Have some open-ended questions written down, and have somebody you know and trust and like ask you these questions and play with this. Write it down beforehand. What in my past is applicable to allow them to know what motivates me to be in this field? Where do I want to go? And yes, I know we just want a paycheck. And yes, I know we want some future plans. That's probably not the answer you want to give. Because they know you need a paycheck. It's already assumed. So when you already have your resume, your memories, and your experiences from your life, this is where we get to work and have fun. I want you to make a list of moments in your life where you felt like a rock star at work and outside of work. They all apply. Your experience outside of work is just as important inside of work. Just because someone didn't pay you outside of work does not lessen that that part of you doesn't come to work. If they know you're part of a cycling club and they just sponsor the cycling club and they now know they've got another dedicated person who's going to help them see from the cyclist perspective, that's worth letting them know about. Anything you do on the outside is just as valid as inside. I know you've heard in the past that that's not true. I'm telling you from an HR perspective who's trying to pull you in to an organization that's supposed to be more human. I need your humanness all the time. So this is another formula I find very beneficial. Again, my background's in industrial organizational psychology, the research of how to help people work better together. And we're the people who developed a lovely behavior-based question and then forgot to teach anybody how to answer it. Apologies. So I actually found that it's helpful to have a formula that you can follow. And this is a formula you're going to see in every commercial you watch and every show you watch. Now, the only reason I didn't say action versus output is it would spell scare. That is not what I want to do. I did find the O very helpful because in a leadership role or in a team role, you need to be able to share the action you did that allowed you to understand what others did too. Depending on the role you're in, knowing how you affect and impact others is important to share. So this is a formula that I call SCORE. And what I mean by setting the stage is have fun with your interviewers and set the stage. Anytime a commercial comes on, it catches your attention. Why? Because they open in a relatable moment, in a car, and having a cup of coffee, a child crying. So I have an uncle who's 100. He was a World War II pilot. And we don't do this very often anymore, sit down together on the front porch or on the back porch in the evenings and share stories. So we've forgotten how. But I remember every single time he goes, and there I was. This is over Normandy. And we know storytellers, and we know the moment they're going to tell a story for the 50,000th time, but we're caught in it anyway. Because they'll go, you know that time in the crabs, and you're on the pier, and it had that crab in the net, and then it jumped out and it bit your foot? Okay, they're setting the stage. But here's the best part. When you interview, and you say, you know, I sat down at my desk one day, I just got my first cup of coffee. You got me. I'm in it. It's a relatable moment. You started a story that now I'm in and I can hear what you say. What was the challenge? I just got a call from my boss, and here's what they said. The client never received what we were going to give them. We're all scrambling. Here's what my part in all of that. Here's the skills that you see I used. But here's where my actions help the rest of the team. Right? So it shows you understanding how your actions affect others. Here were the results. We got it done. We had to work maybe overtime for a couple hours, but it was well worth it. But this is the most important part. And I can tell you that every single person I work with is so untrained in this that you don't know how valuable this is. So there's a ratio. This part of the story, which you have a tendency to drone on and on and on about because the details, I want to tell you every single thing I know and did and understood, is only 50% of the answer. This is the other 50%. I'll give you an example. I walked in on Tuesday morning in an office I used to work at in McLean, and everything was dead silent. So I knew something was wrong. Turns out a coworker had sent out a mass email to all of our customers that was not appropriate under my name. So I immediately went to the email, saw it. I went to the person who sent it, because apparently that was known. I asked them, what did they expect to have happen by this action? And ask them why. I don't care why. I can't cause that. I can't calm that. What were you expecting to have happen? They shrugged with a kind of a toxic little smile. None of these people. All right. So I went back, crafted an email with apologies, sent it all to everybody. Didn't have to name this person. I said, it looks like we had an internal hack. My apologies for this email underneath my name, came through my computer. Here's what we're going to do about it. And then I went to management and say, what are you expecting to see happen here? Here's what I expect to see happen. That person was reprimanded, but not fired, which set the stage for understanding what the culture really tolerated. So what that taught me was I need to be very careful with my computer, my access, my code words, change my passwords often, who I could and could not trust, what management was willing to do and not willing to do and why, how to move on quickly from that position. I started interviewing right away. And how to ask those questions of the next role of what they tolerate. What does success look like in their culture? And it taught me how important it was to really ask the questions that would make me successful so that I could develop more trust in the organization and really show up doing my best. This part is what I'm buying. I'm not buying this part. Yes, your skills come out on your resume, but I need to know what you bring to the table now. I need to tell me any stories. You can be a horrible storyteller, but if you spend the other half of the time telling me what you learned from that and what you're bringing to the table now, so I know that you're going to have what your guidelines are in our culture, that's what I'm buying. And we forget to offer this. We get so caught up in this, and then the silence happens, and we're uncomfortable silence, so we keep talking. And don't do that. If you can do this, you'll know how to end. And how you end, and I'll get to you right in a second, how you end is, and here's the experience I bring to your table to help you be successful. And this. And if it's crickets, it's crickets, but it's crickets for a reason. They're thinking. You need to give them space to take it in. Because if you don't give me space to take it in, I can't unpack that and tell you what I really want to know more about it. Tell me more about that thing you said you did. Tell me more about that result. You kind of glossed over it, but how did that affect the client? Give them time to think, unpack, and ask. And if they take the time and then move to the next question, they've told you you've given them everything they need to know, then moving on. You had a question, sir.
So, many speakers, many events have pointed out it's completely agree, right? So, especially for people looking for jobs, negativity is just a bad. And one aspect of negativity is this dumping on where you've worked before. So I noticed the story you just told is a pretty good example of this. But I've also heard this somewhat parallel item is take those bad experiences, but find out what you learned from them and work those into your stories.
Exactly.
So, is there any limit to that? I mean, it's
So
that one was pretty good because you have a pretty clear cut villain in the story, to put
Right.
it that way. Is there any further granularity on how you choose those stories that may have been in a bad situation?
There is. I mean, if you, and thank you for that, because so his question is, how do you balance the toxic truth and the pleasant skill building conversation? You'll know in your gut it needs to be 75% positive skill building and 25% clarity of why you may have left that job. If I were in an interview, this is an example of a story, I would phrase it a little differently. If they said, tell me about this, or they would, why I would answer that question, have you ever worked with a toxic coworker? And only if they asked if I'd ever worked with a toxic or distrustful workplace. That's the only reason I'd offer that, is if it answered a specific result and what I learned from that specific question. But it's not when I'm keeping my back pocket going, oh, can't wait for them to ask me about anything that does with that person, right? So you have to answer the question and have a good example. Have you ever worked with a toxic boss? Have you ever worked with a toxic coworker? Have you ever worked in a toxic environment? If you have not, yay. a name or a gender. You talk to the behaviors. That's it. The behaviors can change. The person can't all the time. It's still going to be the same manager, the same person that was in there, but they can change. The behaviors can change. You're not condemning them for life. You're saying this is the behaviors that were part of this and result of that. Does that help? Okay. How to start. In that score, okay, right, did you say? I want to help you learn how to make it engaging. Because we're so stuck trying to tell them enough about us that we think goes with the job, that we forget to let them enjoy the process of learning. Remember the 50-50 concept. The story, set the stage, challenge. What you did is output and allow other people to do that, the result, and then what did that reveal, remind you, teach you. It doesn't, you're not going to learn from everything, but it's going to remind you of the person you are, or the skills you have, or the team that you have. Start with a 2-minute timer in mind. When you go home, I always encourage people to take your phone, use a video, set a timer, start answering. Now, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to be a level of skill in this room. It does sometimes go past 2 minutes. But here's why I'm going to ask you to stay as close to 2 minutes as possible, because you don't know what they really want to know yet. This is the teaser, the prequel to the movie. Tell me a time when you had to deliver a project and it moved the deadline up. Okay? Well, here's where we learned about it. There was a challenge. Here's what we all did, scrambled. The result was we may not have hit on time, we made it a day late, but that was still okay with the client. We had communicated ahead of time what a talking was. Our team worked straight together. We bond over challenges. We have the skills to make it work. He was my part. He allowed them to do their part. And as long as you communicate with the client, have open lines of communication, and forgiving of the deadline, and you can go on and on and on here. But do keep it to 2 minutes, because you don't know what they want to know yet. And they're going to come back and say, how big was that project? And how much, like, was it a multi-million-dollar project? Was it a billion-dollar project? Was it a marketing project? They're going to tell you what they want to know if you give them the space to ask questions, which is why the 2 minutes is actually a beautiful time to play with, because that's as long as their attention span. I mean, I'd like to say it's longer, but it's not. And they have an agenda. They just haven't told you what it is. And so when I get to work with people and coach people, I'll say, give me as much wonderful, critical, beautiful bites. I was on a $2 billion project with a team of 24. Nice bit of fact. And here's what happened. She's given them these little bits that they're going to go, oh, gravitas, size. I was a new leader. I just got a new team. We just merged. Now we're downsizing, right-sizing, whatever they choose to call it. Crappy sizing. We know all the words. But this is what we do together. And so I really like people to play with this. So you have a worksheet that I put in front of you. Some are black and white, and then my printer decided to change colors on me. It's like one team member did show up in the ink department, and it changed. So there are questions here. And so I like to make sure I cover these. When you're getting ready for the interview, and you have forgotten, get you just a second, and you've forgotten what makes you amazing, because we do. We have a bad day, we didn't get the interview, and we go down some really weird hole that we know we shouldn't be in. I want you to back the train up and understand, take a moment, what do people brag about when you're not with it's your friends. And if you don't know, you get to ask them. And this is a wonderful question to fill your heart with what people depend on you for, love you for, have worked with you, have heard you say before. And do take the time. So Aaron, you had a question earlier.
Yeah, so I guess it kind of relates to the engaging. So I would just say my memory, I have a really pretty much impossible to remember the kind of details that you use to engage engage in that beginning story. I don't remember if it was a Tuesday or a Thursday. I don't
Doesn't
even
matter.
remember what year something happened in. So and who was there and whether they called me or I called them. And trying to recall that, I start going, well, I don't know, was it me, was it them? So are you, is it better to just make up those details even if you don't remember them? And then how do you keep that in your head?
And you are a detailed lover person who probably has some analysis in your thinking process, because this is where you went. I don't remember all the details. I don't want you to remember all the details. Please, God, don't tell me all the details. But you may have had a cup of coffee that day. Whatever will get them there with you to tell the story. I don't want you to lie,
So-
but you remembered your shoes that day.
No, I have no idea.
Right.
I
So
mean,
it doesn't. So you were at work.
but I don't even remember if it was a day or a not. It's like my mind goes when I've had those questions asked. My mind is going to in general, this is da 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 da, and it's very boring, and I recognize it
Okay.
as being very boring. So
So
do I need to make up that story and then memorize it?
Okay. I really like where this question is leading, because I'm not asking you to go back and memorize details that weren't even in your hemisphere of thinking at the time. And this is what makes interviews so wonderfully personal. So whenever you're about to tell about a challenge you helped solve, tell me a time when, share an experience with me. They're asking you to tell them a story. You have to start somewhere, right? It is easier to start with something that's relatable. Anything that's relatable. Now, let's say that you don't know where you were when you had this challenge. And I'm going to say, you do. You just haven't put a lot of thought there. So if you were at work, or if you weren't at work, you were someplace, and I'll ask you, where were you standing when you were working on that challenge? And you're going to go, I was in my office. I was in the building. I want you to put me there. I was standing in the hallway, in my office. It doesn't, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be to the point where you stress over this. I'm just letting you know that I need you to take the person and put them right where you were, or where you want them to be to hear your story.
Right, and I'm saying that's exactly what I don't know how to do.
Okay.
I can't even imagine doing that. So.
There's an exercise for that, and we'll talk afterwards. How's that? But does that make sense? Where you're just trying to get them to a point. So all commercials open with something visual that catches you there. That's what you're opening with. You're opening with. And could you make it up? Sure. I drink tea, not coffee. So when I say, well, I was just getting my cup of tea, that's all I was doing. But it catches them, because now they're envisioning me getting a cup of tea. I'm just trying to get you visually to listen to you. And I know that sounds weird because ears are auditory, but that's what commercials catch us with. Storytelling catches you in the visual. Why pilots use their hands to start, or the drivers will drive a car. It's just this simple way of getting you there. Yeah.
You can almost merge the S and the C together.
Exactly.
I found myself in an IT office where they didn't use computers. So,
Exactly.
bam, all of a sudden it's like, wow.
I know,
Right,
bewilderment
so-
in a blank room. And ma'am, you had a question in the back.
No, but that's the answer.
Oh, it has been answered. Okay.
You can almost merge the two.
You
and
can.
it's-
So wherever you were when the phone rang on my desk, and the boss said the client lost all of their software, and we don't know where the backup is, right? Anything that allows you to let them know what you were doing when you first learned of the challenge you're going to help solve. I was standing there while my dog pooped. I talked to my neighbor. I suddenly realized I don't have a bag to pick up the poop. So I'm going to stand there and see who stands there the longest so my neighbor doesn't see me walk away from the poop. And then I'll come back and get it when I have it back. It's not too far from my house, right? Does that help a little? But there are exercises for that yes, work on. I'm sure people that have come up here and told you about the handshake. What have you learned so far about the handshake? No, okay. So, in the olden times, a handshake sealed a contract. Do you know why? Because germs were prevalent. I'm taking my life in my hands when I touch yours. So you better not die on me. This better be a good one. Now, we've forgotten the origin of the handshake. And in other cultures, the hand, this is the heart. This is the heart of us. So when I tell people how to shake hands, because I'm a woman, and I have gotten that very limp, oh my God, I think you have cooties thingy. Take that. I teach people how to do a good handshake. And what I want you to take both your hands. I want you to palm to palm. Fingers straight out, palm to palm. Relax your fingers. You got to twist them. Right? So twist. Fingers are available. Palm to palm. Relax. You're not trying to kill the other hand, and you're not treating it like it's contagious. This is you firmly going into a handshake, saying, I'm open. I'm open. And then the fingers relax. So turn to each other. Practice. Shaking palm to palm. I want it to go palm to palm, not finger to finger. Palm to palm.
Run.
It's like a hug. All it is a hug. It says, I'm here. I'm nice to meet you. And I'm not going to treat you like you're a fish. And I know it's simple, but it says a lot about you. So you aim for the crux of the thumb. You aim for it. That's where you aim. You put the palm in. Relax your fingers. It is saying you're present. It's saying that you're open. So don't try and. I have had people do this, and some people just have strong hands. But consider your audience. Don't harm me, but be open. And I know that sounds really trite and trivial, but you're going to meet so many different people in so many different cultures. But that is a universal way of saying I'm here, present, open. And I'm not your enemy. You look them in the eyes, smile if you can. Yes, sir.
I used to read Miss Manners a lot in the Washington Post, and she had a rule that when two men meet, either one can start the handshake. When two women meet, either one can start the handshake. But when a man and a woman meet, the man should wait for the woman to begin the handshake, or else not shake hands. Is that different?
That's changed.
Okay.
That's 1950s, right? So that was Miss Manners' childhood. Now we are genderless. So you just, it's your gesture. I'd like to get to know you, right? So it doesn't matter men or women. Now, there are cultures that you need to pay attention to. Asian, some truly Chinese, strict cultures will not touch at all and they bow. We've seen that in practice. They are warming up the American way, but they still have issues with illness and bacteria. In fact, in the Chinese airport, they scan you for temperatures. As you walk by, and if you have a temperature, they will not let you board. So there are cultures. There are other cultures that are patriarchal. Sadly, do not have the viewpoint of mental equality yet due to the physical being that we have or costume we were given. And so just pay attention so that we're not undermining ourselves without even knowing it. I don't know if there's an old story that I find so funny. It's called the Green Hat Story. Anybody heard about this? It's a marketing story about knowing your audience, but a tractor company, and it's not the John Deere you're thinking of. It was a tractor equipment company, got green hats because green pastures, money, growth, love. They thought this was going to be universal. They were doing a trade show. One of their trade shows was in an Asian country. And in that country, green did not symbolize growth, love, or prosperity. So nobody was taking their free hats, nor even coming to their booth. And they were like, it's like we had the plague. Until somebody of that culture came up and they go, I'm just questioning why you have free hats. They go, well, because of this. And they go, yeah. in our culture, when a man wears a green hat, it means his wife is loose. And she's slutty. And she's been sleeping around. It's his way of shaming his wife that has had an affair. So no one is going to touch your hats at all. And they're like, and they just immediately put hats away. So sorry. And it was just not knowing that culture, not taking the time to look at cultural norms where it applies to color. There are other marketing examples where they would pull somebody from another company who was that culture and says, we love this sign, and she goes, that will do nothing. In my culture, that color has no meaning at all. At all. She goes, it's a non-color test. We use this color, this color, this color. And if they had not taken the time to ask her, because of her cultural background. So know your audience, that's all. And know the culture you're going to be. Like it's an international company, know who's running the show and what are their cultural norms and habits. And ask that in the interview. If you get a phone screen, you're going in, you know it's an international company, say, what are some of the common norms of this international company? Is it Asian influence? Is it Indian influence? And they'll say, what do you mean? Do they shake hands? Do they bow? What are some of the customs that I know we walk into? And please feel free to ask those questions. The interview is supposed to be a conversation, not you being victimized by whatever question comes your way. And here's why I say it that way. I need you to know ahead of time what you want me to hear. I want you to have the stories and experiences that you want me to hear. Because you'll start to recognize any type of question I ask of you that will allow you to share that. Because we have a tendency to ask generalized questions at first to see what you're willing to reveal to us. So, like Sophia, who was a world journalist, who practiced on that, tell me about yourself, because it gave them right away her motivation, where she was going, and why she truly wanted to work there right out of the gate. They didn't care if she was a mom, didn't had no sleep, not yet. They don't care yet. That's the point. And that's hard for us to feel because we've got a lot of emotions in this. So normally when I work with people, I make you have 10 to 20 examples of your experiences that you can talk about that highlight your skills, your thinking, your problem solving, your team collaboration, whatever it is that you're trying to work more in, so that they get an idea of what you look like at your best. So that they can get an idea of where you fit. And as an HR professional, there was one time when I heard this person talk. They talked beautifully, eloquently, but I knew they were interviewing and they would not be perfect for this role, but I was able to put them in the right role. They didn't even apply to that role. So don't limit yourself to just the role you think is the only one available at the company. You may not know what else is available, so you really need to be you. You get to be the unicorn that walks in the door right after they've interviewed everybody else, and they go, oh, that's you. I didn't know that I wanted all of that. I just wanted part of that initially, but now I want all of that. So I need you to really love your experiences and love everything you've ever done in your life, because there's a way to talk about it that will allow your value to increase in their eyes and your own. There are things that you probably have done in your life that you have forgotten about that I will actually test people into going and talking to friends and family and past coworkers, having coffee with questions. Tell me about a time you enjoyed working with me. What was the most enjoyable aspect of working together? Remember that time we worked together? What was the top skill I contributed? And can you give me an example of what that looks like? It's a reverse way of feedback. When you're going to gather the things you did so well, they remember them. And they go, man, you were the best data analysis person ever had. Right? We just had a merge, and the other company brought in, you became redundant, not because of lack of skills, but the other company would not keep 2 people on. And you're going to say, okay, where can I find to get that? And so I always invite you to join my LinkedIn network. If there's somebody that is associated with a company that's in my network, I will do my best to connect with them and connect you. And it is who and how you're connected a lot of times. I know recruiters, I'm happy to look and see if where I can help you get to that next aha moment, but I also want you to be really honest with what you really want to do. You're at this beautiful place of all this life experience, and you get to pick and choose where you will be your best. And yes, we need a paycheck. So sometimes we go to the job and use a paycheck, but do not stop there. I was standing in the office of a woman that I used to work with at the trade association, and she's head of finance. And she said, "So did you see the building down the street?" And I go, "I did. It's new, it's gorgeous, it's already full of companies." She goes, "I know." I went by and looked at all the companies, and I went to the websites. I have an interview next week, and I go, "Oh, you're leaving?" She goes, "Oh, no. I interview once a quarter. I drive home and I see a new building, and I go, oh, it's so nice to stop there on my way to work. I wouldn't have to drive this far." And I go and I look at the companies, I go to their websites and see if there's one position that might fit me, and I apply. It keeps me sharp, and it keeps me appreciating what I have. So if you want to go get the paycheck just to do it, fine. But if it's not the perfect one for you yet, keep going. Don't go, "Oh, thank God I have a paycheck." Do take a week off and celebrate. But keep yourself sharp. Keep appreciating where you're at or where you want to go. I took that story to heart and really have started back into kind of thinking like an interviewee. And I get people offering me positions, or they'll LinkedIn, and I'll have a conversation, we'll tell me more about it. I have a sweet group, but thank you for offering. Be that person. So yes, we're in this transition phase right now. We've got a little more time on our hands. We can have beer at noon, but do keep the process going until you find, as you're growing, I should say. Yes, sir.
And if somebody approaches you and says that they are interested in you, and you're not interested in the position, offer someone that you might know that you can introduce them, because they will appreciate that too, because you never know when your paths are going to cross again.
Always. Do take the time to know what they're talking about, because nowadays we call the same job 5,000 different things. I'm not sure why. I want to be the chief of happiness too. That is a role in some companies. They said, yes, I'm the chief of happiness. How do you get that job? What is that job? So there are many, many jobs that are now called whatever they want to call them in that company. So when somebody comes to you and says, I'm not interested in you, take the time. Say, well, let's talk about the job. What are the job responsibilities? How do you be successful in that role? What does it take to really be successful in the first 30, 60, 90 days? I have that on the handout here of what questions you need to be ready to ask them. And these are the same questions you can ask somebody who says we're interested in you. What does a typical day in that role look like? Well, I don't know. Well, who should I talk to to get a better idea? I might be the perfect fit, but if I'm not, I may know the perfect person I need to work with. Right? So these are ways for you to get exactly how to see yourself in that role. So I've provided different things. So there's a topic I haven't talked about yet. This is the last topic. We'll open up for all questions and answers. Is how to clarify questions when they get asked of you. And you have the job, duty, and right to clarify any question if there's a subjective adjective included. Tell me a time you worked with a toxic employee. I'm happy to, but can you define for me what your version of toxic means? It buys you time and gives you an insight of what they're really talking about. Somebody who's rude, somebody who just interrupts you all the time. So, well, now that's completely different than you're toxic, right? So, talk about when you worked with a dysfunctional team. I'm happy to, but what do you consider dysfunctional? Well, they just talk over each other all the time. I just don't know even get anything done. Very different than a team who can't produce. Like, well, I worked on a team that could produce, but we did that. They talk over themselves all the time, but we knew how to do it. So now it allows them to save face in the question they ask, and not marginalizing that it's a stupid question, but you are now turning it to a positive. The goal of every interview, when you're answering, the interviewer is horrible and asks horrible questions, they need to save face, and you need to show your best side. So never get mad at them for a dumb question. Rephrase it, ask the question back, clarify it in a good way. Here's a question that I absolutely hate. Walk me through your resume. Oh, I hate this question. It's the laziest question known to man. It means that their resume got shoved in front of their face. They weren't the original person doing the interview, so now they're subbing, or they're just too busy, they haven't taken time, which totally undermines the value of you. They still have to save face. You don't want to say you're an idiot. But you don't. And I say, I'm happy to. But given that you have the resume in front of you, where would you like me to start? It gives them time. It gives them the respect to tell you what they really want to know. It buys them time. They feel like they've saved face, and you have bought yourself a little more time. You'd rather really ask questions that are specific, and do not regurgitate your resume. I have your resume. What I want to do is you to talk to the bullet points and say, oh yes, let me share you more of that story. That's what I want to know. If it says, I was 1 of 10 on a $2 billion contract for data analysis of cybersecurity, don't restate that for me. Say, oh, it was a great job. Let me share an experience of being on that team. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear how you acted on that team. What was your favorite memory of that team? What was productive for you on that team? What skills did you get to use on that team? Use the SCORE method to share with me something that's not already stated on the resume. Because that's what's going to get you sorted to the next interview. They want to know more, and they'll ask you more. But anytime they ask you a question that has a very subjective adjective, what do you consider a good day at work? Well, that's a loaded question. Tell me what you think is a good day at work, and I'll share and see if we're on the same page. I don't want to be a challenging, but it's a volley. I ask a question, it's throwing the ball up. Boop. You go over here and go, what does toxic mean to you? Boop. You want the volley. And they go, oh, toxic, this. Now we're in a match. Now I know what to share. Now I know the story that's going to resonate with you. And sometimes you don't have a story right away and say, you know what, I really would like to honor that question. Can we come back to it? I will never tell you no. Ever. If you need time, I'm happy that you recognize you need time. I'm happy to give you time. Let's go to the next one, we'll come back to it. So if something stumps you and you feel your stomach's kind of turning in a knot, you feel your brain kind of exploding, go, I really want to honor that question. Can we come back to it? There's a story in there, I just need to pull it together. Happy to. Thanks for offering. It's a very beautiful way of dancing together. And I'm happy to give it that time. So, what has been helpful for you today so far?
You've made me feel better.
Good. It's Monday morning. I want that. Yeah.
It's partly that we can put our story together and share it, because at the end of the day, we just want to be authentic.
Yes.
And often when we hear people, we get confused. There's no confusion. It's definitely, it's kind of looking ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I want this. And I'm going to tell it as it is.
Yes.
They may want me and they may not want me. That's exactly what you want. That's what you want.
I want you to show up being fully you.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to want to ask questions. Yes, you want to be authentic. You don't want to. You want to check your desperation at the door. And I've been there. And you have to check it and leave it like a bag of garbage. Because I need you to step to that door saying, I got this. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be me. And I'm going to be the unicorn at one of these spots. Could be today. Let's see what happens. Yes, sir.
I love the whole idea of telling a story versus just stating things, because you'll be able to supplement with details that you might not have ordinarily thought about. So that was very helpful for me. But I want to, you were saying that, like about a 2-minute time frame. Would it be a good strategy to maybe start out with like a 45-second answer and then try to engage in a conversation around that story?
So what he's asking is, is it okay to try a different tactic of maybe a shorter answer in hopes that they would step into a conversation? You're assuming that they know how to step into a conversation, and don't make that assumption, because I used to train people on how to interview, and then they get promoted, and then somebody else would come along who's a horrible interview, and I gave up. So I'm going to teach people how to control the message they get. So the point you're making, though, is how to start off a story that doesn't go too long, that engages and asks the questions. It's a wonderful idea if you can keep it to less than 45 seconds, but trust me, you can't. Not if you're really trying to share the challenge, the output of action, the results, and what that experience taught you. Because what's going to happen is you're going to spend 45 seconds to a minute on grabbing their attention, letting them know the problem, letting them know the actions that you took in a very general, maybe 2 or 3 bullet point way, and result. And then you're going to spend the next minute on what that taught you, revealed to you, shared with you, whatever it is you're bringing to the table. If you stop short of that, they might ask, so what did you learn from that? But that's only an experienced interviewer that will ask that. Right? So don't make assumptions.
Don't leave it to chance.
Don't leave it to chance. Always get to the point where what that reveals to you and what you're bringing to the table now. Yes.
So back to your example of a stump question, and you say, gosh, that's a great question, can I, to pass on that right now? Is it your job to bring it up later, or hope that they forget it and then ask you again?
If you don't like the question, you hope they forget it. If it's a question that suddenly, because what happens when somebody asks you a question, it'll stay in your subconscious. It's rolling around. It won't go away. It's there. And when they come back to it, or when you have a moment, and you can say, I'd like to come back to the question that I asked. Here's the beauty of doing that, no matter what type of question it is.
Even if it's one you don't want to answer.
Right. So here's the beauty. And say, I don't really have an answer for that specific question. However, it triggered another story for me. Would you like me to share it? Look at it as an opportunity to share another story of you at your best, handling a challenge. So if you have a list of things you know that you'd like them to hear, and you haven't gotten to one, because you can bring your own piece of paper, you can check off. I got to tell them about the collaboration, I got to tell them about my data analysis, I got to tell them about my teamwork, I got to tell them all these things I think would make a perfect job for me. Here's one that's left outstanding. You can always come back and say, I just don't have that experience to offer, but it did trigger a memory. Would you like to hear? I will never tell you no. I am trying to learn as much from you as you will possibly allow me to know, so that I can assess skills and cultural fit, organizational fit, and I can picture you in that position. So, does that help? Yeah. You can avoid horrible questions, inappropriate questions without calling them out. You don't want them to be angry. You can say, I need to think on that. Can we come back to it? You don't want to do it 2 in a row. So kind of take the poison there. But you can always honestly say, I don't have an experience that I can recall right now that really answers that specific question, but it does trigger a memory of another story. Would you like to hear it? I will never tell you. Ever. Does that help? Do you have, it's 11:15, do you have questions that I can answer? Anything you want to kind of get into?
I have a question about, can you revisit the handshake, because there's a question I have about the duration. Sometimes I'm getting one that seems to be going an awkwardly long time. And I feel like, hi, your name, and maybe 2 shakes, and you should be out.
So this, right, I don't know. I don't know unless they've just forgotten and they've checked out. There are people who have this brilliant mind, and they'll start to do something and forget they're doing it. I have one friend, and I go, I love you, but not that much yet. It's a way to joke or be warm. It's an opportunity for you to show how to make the other person feel comfortable when it's an uncomfortable moment. But you have to take initiative. So let's say we've heard on the news where some people grab a hand and pull you in as a power play, or they, pull, and you literally can say, "Oh, we've just met, just not there yet." You're going to have to kind of practice in your mind how to handle that. You've had that experience before, I take it.
Oh, yeah.
So you can kind of like shake and you can actually call their attention to it, like, I'm okay with it being over, are you? I mean, you're going to have to kind of step in and make a fun joke, because remember, the other person's got to save face too. People like you when you consider that they need to save face too, because they go, "Oh, so sorry." Or maybe she really likes you. And
I
it's
wondered
just
if
a way.
it was deliberate, if they were trying to see how I would react in an awkward situation.
If it is deliberate, they're just weird. But there are going to be weird people in life. And there's going to be people, I know, my husband works in space. We've got these brilliant people who truly forget what they're doing. Like, until I'm trying to walk away, they have forgotten they're doing something, shaking hands. I have one friend that we just now fist pump. Like, okay. So it's a catch-22 when you've got different people that surprise you. I think it's a beautiful moment to step in your own space and joke about it and let them feel friendly in the process. But that's a weird one. I know. Yes, ma'am.
In today's climate, I find that a lot of people who are doing the interviewing, frankly, are not very good at it. They themselves have not been trained how to do proper interviews, or as you mentioned before, perhaps they're filling in for someone at the last minute, blah, blah, blah.
Well, recruiting is the first level to get into human resource positions. And a lot of people will just take it to get into human resources. Sadly, they're not well trained. It is the Achilles heel of the HR department that people are trying to rotate talent so fast. It's becoming a profession that we haven't been able to hone in fast enough.
But my question as being the one who is being interviewed, I like what you were saying earlier about saving face with the interviewer and not making them feel bad in any way. But at the same time, inside, I'm already feeling a sense of dread, thinking, wow, is this indicative of this organization? Or are they intentionally wasting my time because they've looked at me for 3 seconds and decided, no, I'm not a fit? How do I get past that?
So, So how to get past the stories in your head that have been caused by this?
Yeah, how do I get past the fact that if I'm having a bad interview because of their lack of skill, how do I get past this idea that, oh geez, am I wasting my time here?
Right.
Or am I already dead in the water because they're not doing a good interview?
So don't leave it to them to control the interview, is what I'm telling you. And when I talk about having this list of stories that you know need to be heard to highlight your skills and how you want to work, if an interview is going bad, like they don't know what to ask, I literally would coach you to say, I've got quite a bit of experience, would you like to hear more about it? And they'll go, yes, you know what to ask. And you say, on my resume you'll see this bullet. Let me share a story about that. And you walk them through whatever you want them to hear. And a new recruiter who doesn't have an interview will be so grateful to hear that, because what you need them to do is check the box they've been given, or do they have this, do they have this, do they have this, send it on. And you get to control that dialogue. So let's say, so this is why I want people to step into an interview knowing you're 50% of the solution. And when they are not pulling their weight, you can step in and help them out. And say, you know what? Can I share some experiences that you may not see on my resume? Just ask them. They'll always probably say yes. Say, and you just jump in. Does that help? I want you to take control of your interviews because of the inability to predict the quality questions you'll get. And this is when you get to control your own dialogue no matter where you are. So if you're walking on the street, you bump into somebody at a bar, you're grocery shopping, they say, oh, you're grocery shopping. I thought you were on that contract. Well, the contract ended, now I'm on a new contract. this is what I'm looking for, and they go, I had no idea, my brother just said he moved here. You know, you're always on some form of an interview. Be ready with what you want, be ready to share a fun story. Because that's what people love to listen to. I have a client now who's my ideal client. I work to help people understand how to communicate their value. She's a professional working parent on her way to C-suite. And she's got all the skills. I got that position because I know a coach who got into that company because her neighbor, she knew a person who was a neighbor of the guy who said, oh, you know coaches, in their front yard. And they knew that this woman wanted somebody with HR because she was in HR. So with an HR background that wouldn't ask stupid things of her, because I knew the industry. So it's that weird way of people knowing somebody and hearing a story, and knowing you know something, and knowing that's your skill. That started by literally on the metro platform. I stood next to a woman I coached a year ago. She took a year off to travel. She's young and in her 20s. Now she's back. First day of the job, guess what she is? A recruiter. I was like, oh, we should talk. And I said, Indigo, I just joined a new international company. They're hiring 60 to 90 new positions. They're just got won a big contract. And I said, send me your job list. Because I may know people who don't know about this, and I'll make your job easy for you. And she goes, I will do that. It's my first day on the job. I'll get back to you. It's chances we do in life where you say, what are you doing now, and what are you looking for, and what do you want? Be ready with what you want. Not just what you think will bring your paycheck in. I want you to be happy with what you do and set yourself up for success so that you love the work you put into getting there, but do be mindful of what you want. Okay, any other questions?
Just one very briefly.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier the name of an assessment that was one of your
Yes.
favorite, and I didn't catch the name. Can you repeat the name?
I will. It's the Clifton Strength Finders Assessment. And I'm certified with them. I also do a Strength Strategy certified as well. And the reason I use this is it really does help you identify how you see the world, how you think, and how you problem solve. And it literally is 50, 60, 70 years. It's across ethnicity, cultures, genders, countries, languages, and we literally have found a way to let you know how unique you are. Like 1 in 476 trillion unique. You are uniquely and divinely made. So let's work there. Yes.
Would you, if you have done the Strength Finders and you know how you assess, how you score it, would you ever mention those things in an interview?
You can, and Facebook puts it on name badges. Facebook actually uses your top 5 strengths on their name badges, because when you need to be innovative and problem solve, you want to go seek out somebody who's opposite you, because they're going to come to a different perspective that you would have never reached. That's going to trigger your curiosity, and it's been scientifically proven that innovative thinking at the table is what we really want. Yes, we want to look different. We want to make our table match our customers. What we really want is diversity of thought. Opposites attract for a reason. It's exciting. It triggers curiosity. It triggers ideas. It also triggers some conflict. We learn how to talk about that, because we really all do get up every day wanting to do our best. Just the way we do it might irritate the person next door, naturally. And it's not personal. It's just the way we think. And so understanding how you think, how you show up, and how you see the world uniquely you, gives you an insight into where you should stay and play and be really successful.
So how do I get those?
So GallupStrengthCenter.com. So as somebody, I never make money off these things. They're $50, $49.99. You can go and get your top 5 for $20. You can get your whole report for $49.99.
Tell me about it again,
Gallup. StrengthCenter.com. I can easily purchase it for you. I never make any money off this, because when you take it, I get your results too, and I can pull additional reports that create kind of cheat sheets for you, like taking your top 5 and knowing the value you bring to the table, but also what you need of each of these strengths to be your best. And that's where your frustration comes from, and that's where you also need to ask questions about the work environment. So there's fun ways to allow you to get more into loving you for who you are, naturally. Doesn't even have to take any work. See the world that you are. Assessments all have different purposes. There's not one assessment that does everything for everybody, or we just have one. Truly. And in the world of IO psychologists, we're the people who help validate these surveys. You need to look at the validation and the error and different things of why it would be effective to pay attention to. But the assessments literally kind of shove your opinion of yourself off the table, which sometimes we need. We just need not to think about it and go, oh, who are we? And it allows this to connect with what's made you successful, so now you know really literal points to talk to. And yes, there are organizations who use your top 5 strengths as a way to understand which strengths work better in their environment. So it does make a difference, especially when you can kind of love yourself. Yes, sir?
Or like you said, they're developing a team. They might know that they're looking for somebody with this particular background,
right?
These strengths to, complement the team they already have.
They are trying to avoid groupthink, because that is just going to get stuck in one way or another. So yes, that is an assessment anybody can take. And even if you've already taken it, there's a way you can share it with anybody that allows us to pull the data and do anything you want for it. So there's postcards. I always offer free downloadables. I've created ebooks, and I've created 11 tips that interviewers expect they won't tell you. Just things I'd love to make available to people if you want it. Discovery calls.
The slides from the talk today.
Yeah, I can send you the slides. That's easy to do. I just need your email. I don't spam people. There's a check mark if you want to be on a newsletter or not. Totally honor that, because nobody needs more emails than they can read. And discovery calls, if you're just trying to talk through your issue, they're always complimentary. I always offer them to organizations I talk to, because sometimes you just need to have that conversation. And I'll totally honor it. So with that, I always take these and pull them in, and I always do a drawing for a free coaching session. Just trying to help out in the journey of the adventure. And you can take these home and wad them up, make paper airplanes, fill them out, whatever you want. Just a way to keep me on track. Yes, I do have more postcards. And that's me. I do have a website. You can contact me at any time. And I'll be sending the slides to Fred or Tom or whoever I need to, and they'll circulate for you.
Carole, thank you so much for the great talk.
Thank you.